Good morning and welcome to the Shielded Prepper. Today is an amazing day and we have two stories for you. They're called dichotomies and I'll show you the backs of them. They're a dichotomy, meaning one is extremely different than the other. I'm sure you'll be able to figure out why. At the end, if you do figure out why, put it in the comments. I've really enjoyed talking with some of you, so thank you for that. It's an encouraging side of YouTube to get some response back from people, and it's been awesome. Okay, today's first story, it's about food. Pandemic era food stamps ending for nearly 30 million Americans. Think about that. Do they count all the children in this? Do they count just the family unit? Obviously, it says 30 million Americans, so I'm guessing that they're incorporating children in there. Here's what's going to happen. After we go over this, what you're going to find out is that they're putting the responsibility of feeding America on the backs of the local communities. Us. Who are we preparing for? Remember that. We're not just preparing for us, that there's friends and family and people in our social circles that are being massively affected by these increased food prices. It's coming. Here it goes. So after this pandemic era, isn't that interesting? We're in the pandemic. The era is past now. We're coming out of it. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? But they say the pandemic era. We're going to refer to this when we're really old and gray as the pandemic era. They're talking about this family, Dina Hardy, and she's in Wisconsin. And here's just what it says, is she's stocking up on pricier foods like meat, eggs, and salmon before her family's monthly food stamp benefits are drastically reduced. Drastically, not slightly, not kind of, not a little, drastically. We're going to struggle, she said. We're going to end up going back to cheaper items like noodles and processed stuff because meat and dairy, fruit and veggies will be too expensive. This is them right there. Normal family. They've got disabilities, and we all know that disabled people are limited in the scope of what they can do at times. Some of it we fostered, we all know that, and some of it is real and authentic. Yet we know that 30 million Americans are going to be affected by this. These Americans, these 30 million Americans, are bracing for significant cuts of their monthly food assistance, and after nearly 3 years of federal government subsidies, ending its pandemic era payments on March 1st. It all stops right now. Low-income families on Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Programs, or SNAP, are going to feel it the worst. They're going to feel it. Dina, this family, says that her and her husband Ben are both disabled and rely on fixed income to provide for their 2 young sons. After special benefit allotments go away, the Hardys' SNAP benefits will plummet. Listen to this. Will plummet from $960 a month to $200 a month. That's a lot of food assistance. I would say that our family of 6 survives on maybe that plus or minus. So these families are eating the same as those of us that are working and having to put it out of our pockets. And I'm not putting this against those that receive it. It just goes to show you the lascivious spending that the government has, and they're taking it away from those that can't afford it, and they're spending it across the ocean. Billions are being given freely to prop up the pension funds in the Ukraine to stabilize their economy on the backs of us, and the Hardy family is having a 80% cut, 75% cut to their food benefits when Americans need it, and they're just one family of 30 million people that'll be affected by this. Get a clue, government. Gall. Pisses me off. And I'm sure it pisses you off too. Righteous. piss off. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to finish with here. The article goes on and they kind of justify all the percentages and blah, blah, blah. Yet we know this. Dina says she worries about the future. If prices keep going the way they're going, and we can't even make it work with what we have now, what's it going to be like in 6 months from now, she said. There's millions of Americans suffering right now, and there will be millions more suffering in 6 months, in a year and a half. This is by design. Get a clue. Prepare your house. Prepare for someone else. It's necessary right now. And there's so many YouTube channels that tell you about 5 things to do this and 2 things to do that and 12 things to be able to do this. And we're going to do some of those too. And at the end of the day, your fellow Americans, my fellow Americans, are suffering right now in their countries over the pond that are receiving our wealth. Our debt that we have to pay back, they're being given it freely. It's not our agenda. We have to step up, and they're putting it on the backs of the local community and of the churches. Let me grab this last page. I stopped this here. They give you some great alternative measures that you can take. You can enroll your kids in summer meal programs at school, special supplemental nutrition programs for women, infant, and children known as WIC. You can apply for that if you don't get that. Or you can double up on food bucks. So there's different programs in different states or nationally on food bucks. You can enroll in meal programs. Some of these things I don't even know about, yet the one I do know is the local food pantries. And I'll tell you this, the local food pantries, my father-in-law volunteers at one. It's growing, it's increasing. The requirement, the velocity, the flow of food is leaving. These people are going to continue to suffer, so be prepared. Our communities have to be propped up by us and by the local church. So churches, thank you. The dichotomy article. Anybody know who these pretty people are? Prince Harry and Meghan Markle reportedly asked by King Charles III to leave their Frogmore cottage. That 15,000 square foot cottage or whatever it is. It's their UK home, yet they don't spend their time there. They spend their time here in the United States. They've become massively wealthy. And King Charles is now the king and has to put his foot down with his children that aren't serving the royal family. Harry and Meghan now live full-time in California and have been asked by their father, the King Charles III, to exit the Frogmore cottage, their home, since 2019. According to the Sun newspaper, the Frogmore cottage has instead been offered to Charles's younger brother. Who knows who that is? Jeffrey Epstein's buddy. Yep, Prince Andrew, who is no longer a working royal after facing scrutiny over his relationship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. It's a dichotomy. There's those that don't have and those that have more than enough. And all of us are finding this pressure right now. Get serious about preparing your home. This crap is going to continue. It's going to continue. This is a dichotomy. It's 2 different worlds. Yet the world that we're in right now has to be provided for and protected by us. Stock it deep. Gold and silver is an amazing thing to hold. If you've got money sitting in the bank that's a sizable amount, take a percentage of that back and hold it in physical. Take some out and beef your stocks up and think about someone else. It's coming down the line and it'll bless you. The Shielded Prepper is out for today. See you tomorrow.